Do you hear that? If your answer is no, then you are correct. You shouldn't be able to hear anything, and that's because my game has no sounds. So in the next 7 days, I will attempt to go from zero experience in sound design to designing the entire sound of my game. Also, make sure to stick to the end of the video to learn how you can get early access to Deer Hunt. I'm assuming there will be a lot of hurdles waiting for me in the next few days. Stuff like how do I play sounds, how do I mix them. But today I'd like to take on what I think is the most important part of it all. Making sounds. If you don't know, most sound effects are made by stacking multiple sounds on top of each other. And that's simple enough, right? Wrong. Choosing the right sounds to put together is a skill that takes years to master. Of course, I don't have years, I only have this afternoon, so let's get to work. To start off, I literally just ran around my house, taking anything that I thought might sound interesting. Then it was just a matter of taking the best sounds, recording them, and spending hours piecing them together. For example, this is what I came up with for selecting the characters. It's just a combination of sounds I made with my mouth, and a drum kick for some oomph. I also made some other sounds like... Some are better than others, but we still have 6 days left to fix them, so... I've decided to split playing sounds into 3 separate problems. Sound effects, tied to the game's mechanics, one-off shots, and music. To handle sound effects, I created what I call sound emitters. They contain a list of sounds from which I can choose one to play. Then, it will select an audio clip at random for that sound effect, randomize its volume and pitch, and play it. To make a sound emitter play, I can either tell it to play from a script or add it as an event to an animation. I can place it on any game object I want, or it can be expected by an object by default, like for example, all my entities do. Moving on to one-off shots. I know Unity already has a one-shot function, but the problem with it is that it's not persistent between scenes. So when we change the scene mid-sound, it will just cut off the sound. So I replicated Unity's one-shot function, just making sure to make my sound manager persistent. As for the music, I will talk more about that on day 5. My game is full of features that are almost complete, but never 100% there, and as I get closer to the release date for the game, I find myself finishing those things up more and more often. Settings are one of those things that I added back in this devlog, but if you actually click on the button, nothing happens. So I thought doing that now is a perfect time, since I have to add volume settings anyway. For the UI of this, I just made it slide back and forth when you enter and exit the settings. As for how this actually works, I just used Unity's mixer groups and adjust them accordingly to their settings volumes. For now, I just separated the sounds into 2 groups, but if I have a need for more in the future, I can easily add new ones. I will actually take a little break from making sounds today, as I want to focus on something that I probably should have done months ago, and that is setting up the Steampage for Deer Hunt. That's right, Deer Hunt now officially has its own Steampage, so make sure to go and wishlist the game, first link in the description. As I promised on day 2, today I'll be implementing music into the game. There are 2 things we should take into consideration. First, what music we would want to be played by default in a given level, and second, what to do if you want to change the song mid-track. The solution I came up with is that every level is able to request its own song to be played, and the sound manager has to respect that, but it can be interrupted by different events, like for example when you finish a level. You can also choose if you want to transition between different songs smoothly or abruptly, depending on your situations. Also, huge thanks to my friend who helped me compose music for the game. If you want to listen to the full tracks and some other ones, make sure to join my Discord. Majority of this day was spent working on new sounds and improving old ones, so instead of telling you about that, I will take this opportunity to tell you about the early access playtests I will be hosting for Deer Hunt. As we move closer to the release date of the game, it's becoming more and more important for me to get feedback on the game. The first ones to get access to Deer Hunt will be my patrons, with the first playtest planned to happen in less than 30 days. So consider becoming a patron to support the development of Deer Hunt. And if for any reason you aren't able to become a patron but still want to try Deer Hunt, don't worry, more open playtests will come in the future. You will just have to wait a little longer. I just used day 7 to make sure everything sounds like it should, making minor adjustments here and there, but nothing crazy. And this is the final result. Probably a lot of these sounds will be improved or outright changed before the release of the game, but for 7 days with zero prior experience, I think this is good enough. And that's it for this video. Make sure to wishlist Deer Hunt on Steam, first link in the description, and check out my previous devlog where I showed how this system saved my game.